Jacob Thornburg, print journalism intern with Accuracy in Media, and today we're here with Congressman Paul Gosar of Arizona's 1st Congressional District. Dr. Gosar, thank you very much for meeting with us today. We're all anxious and excited to hear how your first couple weeks have been in office, so let's get right to the questions. First, what are some of the primary concerns that your constituents have with the most recent budget proposal for the 2012 year?
Well, I think that for the budget proposal,
Yes.
I think a lot of it is looking at the entitlements. I think people want to see the adult conversation that everybody was promised. There's a way, and I think there's a way that we can honor our promise with our senior citizens, but also looking at our future so they're not encumbered by that promise. There's got to be a way, and I challenge everybody to look at it, and I think that's our biggest aspect that our district's looking at.
Okay, were there specific aspects in this budget proposal that will specifically affect these constituents in Arizona's 1st District?
From the president's budget
Yes.
proposal? Well, we didn't even go into talking about
Okay.
the entitlements. That was the thing that I was heartbroken over on Valentine's Day. It was tough when we're not talking about that adult moment. The other thing is that we still don't get it. We can't keep spending more money. Our fiscal house is not in order, and we're playing with monopoly money. Everybody else has to run under a certain type of a program of balancing their budget, and so has the federal government has to do it. And we've heard an oversight all over where it's hard to find where the money came from, where it's going. This is not right. This is not business that can be done on a continued basis. It's got to stop.
Yeah, I think I saw yesterday you said that we're broke as a nation. I think it was printed in the Hill as part of a piece you sent, and which is what you're talking about, and we're in a dire situation right now. On a little looser note, what has been your biggest transitional or legislative surprise since being in office? I guess it's been a little over a month, so 6 weeks or so.
Well, I think that the biggest surprise has been in looking at the CR and looking at cutting the 2011 budget currently. I think people have started to dig into programs from budgets that were used on foreign lands for butterflies and for forests there, when it doesn't have an application here. From water, jurisdictions of water in San Diego, the Presidio, where, boy, the ratio of cost analysis there just is unfathomable. That there's a benefit for those local groups, but we pay all the penalties and subsidies. That's what's been amazing to me, is everybody has pitched in to find stuff, and it's not just Republicans digging to find it either. I mean, today even Representative Weiner from New York brought up a proposal that everybody chimed in on. So it's getting to the facts of getting our fiscal house in order. I think that's been the biggest surprise.
So everybody's digging a little deeper than you originally thought.
Well, we saw the first thing, they had leadership from the Republican side had ended up for what they thought the Pledge for America was. And they happily listened when, folks said, that's not, we need more. And what I'm seeing here is, yeah, there's some push and shove about which programs should be cut a little bit more than the others, but I'm seeing that on the House floor. So this is what's just really interesting to see.
Okay. With your demanding constituency in the 1st District of Arizona, what would you consider your biggest goal in terms of policy, passing policy for the 112th Congress?
I think the biggest thing is any policy that we are passing, that we're engaging the people in our districts, and where it makes the biggest difference for them. And where is it applicable? Where can we cut the red tape to make that benefit to help them? They don't want handouts, but they want the federal government to give them a chance to build their own recovery. And my district is perfectly suited for that.
So sort of giving them a chance to be a part of it rather than just be a result.
Well, and I think that's what we saw last year in the healthcare bill. We were dictated to as individuals, as constituents. We were never engaged in that discussion. And that's what was so sad about it. And the issues we're talking of the day, from Medicaid to Medicare to Social Security to healthcare, those are all personal things that we all have to have the ability to speak our mind and have some buy-in. If we don't, then you're going to have the problem like we did with the last election cycle. But they want to be part of that. And Washington doesn't have a corner on the market of great ideas. In fact, I don't think we got a lot of great ideas. I think they're out there in America to go find. And I think that's what we as our representatives need to go do. Find out what the process is, make it transparent so they can see how it works, and make sure that they're dialogued in so that we can get those proper ideas to make this country back to what it was.
Very good point. That there's a lot more going on than just in this city and this district. So I'm glad you recognize that.
There's a whole nother America out there.
Yeah,
and
it's in America.
That's right.
With, I guess, following Senate Bill 1070 and the tragic shootings in Tucson last month, would you say that the media outlet in America has sort of been bullying or painting a disrespectful picture of Arizona or Tucson specifically since those developments have occurred, in the sense that they're compromising Arizona's character and charisma that they've been known for over the years?
Well, you know, the media can do what they want, but I'm proud to be from Arizona. That we've actually asked the federal government, demanded, and now we're suing the federal government in dialogue over this, that the federal government doesn't have a choice on picking laws that they adjudicate or uphold one over another. That's not their job. Their job is to enforce those. And right now, Arizona's in a crosshair, and we've got problems. We've got problems with immigration. We've got a lot of different problems. And it takes a dialogue with the federal government working with the state. Too much we have been dictated to by the federal government instead of working with. We had a 10th Amendment for a reason, and that is looking at the oversight of health, education, and also the protection of the citizens of Arizona. And I find it very odd that we have such a binding effects not only in the Southern District, but also going up to the Native American lands, where they're finding that their security is not even secured with the drug cartels and the invasion coming from the cartels from Mexico.
So there's a lot more out there that the media just is not looking at these days.
We tend to sensationalize things and are quick to grasp a story that's going to make headlines, and we fail to see the bottom line, the mom and pop, the ranchers that have been struggling to make things end, that this is their property. And I think when we start walking in those people's shoes and go to the ranch to see what they have to endure, what kind of destruction they have to their property, I think if we walk the way we want to be treated with anybody else, we're going to find that there's a whole different set of rules that we'll kind of look at in a different light.
I agree, and I guess sensationalized media is the word to use there, and it's everywhere and it's tough. This is a question following CPAC last week. Do you think there's a legitimate or significant conservative youth movement in America right now? And do you think if there is it good? Is it following the right path that I guess older or senior Republicans would like to see?
Well, I think we want to engage youth. That's what we've been missing. You know, that's the thing that caught me when I was growing up. My parents engaged me. They were my mentors. You know, I was included into the process of being active and being part of the solution process and not part of the problem. And I think when you look at what's being handed to our young generation, no wonder they rebel. They actually saw the problem coming before we did. You know, where is my job? What is my future? You know, that's not the America I was told about in books. And so I think it's a way that we're shaping that. And I don't know that we have a corner on that market either. But I think it's open for that dialogue to find out, you know, is this the America that I can choose to succeed or fail equally? And then if I fail, I can succeed again. Is that the America that once was and will be again? I think that's what we're shaping. And I think seeing that enthusiasm in our youth coming through CPAC, I think it's just a tip of the iceberg of what can happen.
Well, I think you're right that a good young movement is only good if they've got good ideas. So we're going to go to the last question, and we'd just like to hear your thoughts on current health care legislation and what do you think of the ongoing process right now?
Well, first of all, I do believe we need insurance or health care reform. And but the problem is that Obamacare, as it's stated, there's some nice ideas in it, but the first premise that a government bureaucrat sits between you and your health care provider that doesn't work for me. And so I think that there's plenty of opportunities to get this thing right and dialogue with the American people to share in the idea, share in the passion, and actually share in the solution. I think there's things we can do in real time, and that is looking at constructively breaking down the barriers for anti-competitive practices. We see that in insurance. We want to have individual marketplaces. It's been resistant by the insurance companies. They're the best at it. We need them to succeed, but we need to have them succeed in an environment that's very competitive, one against the other, instead of collusionary, which we find them now. Second of all, we have to hold accountable public health. Public health is on a different time set and a different venture. Communities have to identify what the programs are on public health and where they're being delivered, and can they be done better and with fewer resources or with more resources from outside interests. And last but not least, you can have some tort reform. But I think the public wanted something that unfolds a little slower, that once you do the major things, you see what happens. And then you start to look at those and a little bit more creative ideas. See how that changed that environment and did it help us. We got plenty of opportunities to do that. And I think that the discussion that I'm hearing from the doctors, from the patients, from the public are along those lines.
Do you think that the 2012 election will be decided by someone who has great ideas for healthcare reform that could actually be implemented? And if so, will that have set us back 4 years? Because nothing is set in stone with Obamacare being repealed, and I think that a lot of people's campaigns for the 2012 election will revolve around healthcare and what they feel is the right thing to do. Do you think that's the case?
I think it's only one of the cases. I think that that's one of the 4 pillars that are going to come about. And that is, you're going to have to see Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. This is that adult moment that everybody in America wants. And frankly, we're unsustainable if we don't address those. And I think it's the person that comes, and I tend to be a little bit selfish that it's a healthcare provider's attitude that we need to start the discussion. I think there's a couple out in the independent commission. Paul Ryan's thrown them out. They may not be perfect, but they start the discussion. And then I'll put it out there and allow people to chime in. Listen. When a patient comes into my office, the first thing I have to do is ask them a question, then listen. What's wrong? And allow them to tell their story. Allow them to show you what's wrong and how they have some solutions. Gather that information, retool it, rebuild it, send it back out again. It's the same thing healthcare providers have been doing, doctors have been doing, and I think it's exactly what's going to be needed in these 4 pillars. And we have got to address this. And we can't be shy. We have to be the leaders that we were elected to be and bring it forward.
Okay. Well, Congressman Gosar, thank you very much.
Thank you so very much.
And once again, Richard Thornburg, print journalism intern for Accuracy in Media. Thank you very much.